Nightmarish news. What a week we had as Major League Rugby fans. NOLA Gold, no more. Two teams in California merging. It's been hectic and we've had time to digest it all, and now it's time to react. We also bring on NOLA Gold's Callum Botchar on the show to provide some player insight to all that has gone down. The Fantasy Ruckers show starts right now.
This is Callum Botchar, lock for Rugby Canada, and you're listening to the Fantasy Ruckers Show.
Where rugby and the world of fantasy sports collide. Welcome to the Fantasy Ruckers Show, bringing fantasy rugby to the masses, talking all things rugby from the MLR to leagues around the world. We're on top of it. Headphones on, pads off. This is the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Now, here are your hosts, Ryan Yee, Matt Yee, and Devin Vanderpool.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 164 of the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Thank you so much to our Fantasy Ruckers League members, our community members, and everyone else tagging along on this journey of making fantasy rugby a reality in MLR. And boy, we got a special episode for you in a week, or following a week, I should say, of some not so exciting news, nightmarish news, you might call, when it comes to stuff happening around Major League Rugby. We are joined by a special new friend of the show, NOLA Gold's Callum Botchar, to chat a little bit about everything that is going on. So that'll happen in just a little bit here. But first, Matt Yee, Ryan Yee here with you. Devin Vanderpool will join us just in a little bit when that interview does come around. Matty, I mean, where do I begin? It's been a hectic week, to say the least.
We took a week off, and it's been a pretty crazy couple weeks, that's for sure. And we got quite a bit to talk about. Again, like you said, we'll get a lot to it in the interview. But there's some other news to talk about as well.
Yeah. So we're going to break that all down in this episode. Kind of took the week off last week. I know we said we were going to be back, but we did want to just digest everything that was happening, reflect on it, really think it through. And I know emotions are running high a little bit when it comes to the MLR community. Wanted to try to give a clear kind of perspective on our thoughts on what is going around the league, and kind of take a step back before we kind of act too emotionally on it. But either way, obviously we're alluding to the NOLA Gold departure, the merger between San Diego Legion and RFCLA, plus a whole bunch of other news that's actually good news that we need to catch up on as well, coming up in a little bit. So jam-packed episode. We're going to get to all of it. And again, NOLA Gold's Callum Botchar are going to be joining us in just a bit alongside Devin Vanderpool. All right. Before we do, though, follow us on socials. We had a great interview with Andrew Quattrin, New England Free Jacks, three-time MLR Shield champion, on our last episode. And you can find us here on YouTube at the Fantasy Ruckers, and continuing to punch out some good content and good guests of the show coming through here. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We do really appreciate it. Goes a long way. Socials, follow us at the Fantasy Ruckers. Good content out there. Might be the off season, but the grind don't stop when it comes to here on the Fantasy Ruckers Show, giving out fantasy content, reactionary content, all that good stuff throughout it. Got our Discord community, obviously was popping off when this news was coming through, even talking a little bit of international tests that are happening, plus much more. And if you haven't already, check out thefantasyruckers.com, the official platform for fantasy MLR here on the Fantasy Ruckers Show. All right, Maddie, let's get right into it. No time to waste.
News dump.
All right, time for our TFR news dump. May I say a big dump, Maddie? A pretty big dump that we're having on this. Pretty big dookie. Let's start off with the good stuff. Awards have been announced over the course of the past 2 weeks.
This isn't even a good stuff.
Forward of the year, back of the year, coach of the year, rookie of the year, and most recently executive of the year all announced. Frank Lahore of the Utah Warriors is your forward of the year. Gonzalo Bertranu is your back of the year. Ryan Martin of the New England Free Jacks, coach of the year.
Don't love
Hayden
that.
Wall, rookie of the year on Chicago. And then Milagros Kubeli. I don't know how many Kubelis they have on Miami. I don't know what
related.
I guess, is it actually?
No, I have no clue. It's not how many Kubelis. They have one Kubeli. They have a bunch of Tomases.
And Kubishas, Kubelis, all of this. But either way,
Yeah, those are
Milagros
different
Kubeli of the Miami Sharks named your executive of the year. Maddie, initial reactionary stuff to those names.
Yeah, I can't go wrong with Frank Lahore. I think he led the league in tackles, so can't kind of go with that. Gonzalo Bertranu, I think, if not the MVP for the LA RFC team, he was the best nine in the league and clearly the best back of the league, outside of Paula Balakena. And I mean, the two where I'm a little bit disagree with is probably the coach there. I think Greg Cooper definitely deserved that. I wonder if his departure had anything to do with it. But I think he deserved that for sure. And then for the rookie of the year, I thought Aiden King deserved that one. Peyton Wall, I think there's a bit of recency bias in there. He played really well at the end, but Aiden King just had a stellar season all year long. The one thing that I will say, and I think Jam Delay, MLR Stats, our man, was bringing up that I guess the Marcus S. Callaway Award is just quietly gone. And for those of you who didn't know what that was the Community Impact Award that they would present at the finals, which obviously they didn't present at the finals this year. They didn't present after the finals. So I guess one of the core values of rugby community is now useless to the MLR. So yeah.
Yeah, tough to see that one not be a part of it. Obviously, may not be the maybe most headliney, but I think community has always been a big aspect, even growing up playing it. So, I mean, fingers can only be crossed that that's something, maybe a one-off, then something that's going to continue, because that is
Yeah.
obviously a big thing. Yeah, I think for me, Maddie, same kind of reaction to that. I think I'm pretty much in agreement. I can understand the Ryan Martin naming a coach of the year. I mean, it's incredible what New England has been able to do. New England, now the coach of that team, has won it in back-to-back years. Obviously, Scott Matthew winning it last year, and then now Ryan Martin this year. Peyton Wall, I think, is the big one. I think that people will have kind of a disagreement with, on both sides. Obviously, Peyton Wall with the recency bias that you mentioned, Maddie. 55.2 fantasy points on the season in only the 5 matches that he played, only 4 that he started, and he got double digits in all of them. Was surpassed in all of his starts, 67 meters gained, and scored 2 tries in those 4 matches that he started. So, I mean, you can't deny how explosive he was on the scene, but I feel like for rookie of the year, it's a season long thing, right? Like you
Yeah.
gotta kind of have a threshold of games. And Aiden King, to your point, Maddie, is a guy that on the flip side played 14, started 9, 104 fantasy points, and double digit tackles in almost every single match except for 4. And those 4, he came off the bench,
Yeah.
right? Like Aiden King was an absolute monster. And again, we'll touch on him a little bit more when we have Callum on, in just a little bit. But yeah, I think I'm siding on the Aiden King side of things. But there's a piece of me that understands with the hype of Peyton Wall, kind of that goes around there. And I don't know crap about finances and being an executive for a sports franchise. So congratulations to Milagros Cabelli. I've heard only good things about her and what she's been able to do with the Miami Sharks. Hopefully, it's a good sign that Miami is going to be sticking around, in light of everything that we have because of that. But Maddie, hey, you were the solder student at UBC. You might have something to attest to this.
Nope.
No, not at all. Yeah, I don't think this is the place to do that. All right. I guess we'll shift on over to the player side of things now. A couple things that we need to announce. Christian Dyer, Eagle number 537, retires and hangs up the cleats. Most currently, obviously, a player of RCLA. Bryce Campbell, Eagle number 497, a staple of fantasy for a long time. Obviously, on Chicago, announces his retirement. And then Kurt Baker, a former player for DC, played in and out, obviously the big name in New Zealand Sevens, and was the assistant coach of Old Glory DC, is heading back to New Zealand. So Christian Dyer, Bryce Campbell, both announcing their retirement. Kurt Baker heading back to the homeland for that. Obviously, those two former players, Dyer and Campbell, both pretty solid fantasy assets.
Yeah, guys that are just staples when it comes to USA Rugby. So it'd be sad to see them go. They'll be missed in the MLR for sure, and I know 100% in the US rugby community. But yeah, on to bigger and better things.
Yeah,
And good luck
Dyer
to them.
Dyer in his season with Houston in 2024, 73.3 fantasy points and had over 400 meters gained this past season. He was in and out of the lineup. 6 played, 4 started, and had a high of 17.6 fantasy points in round 16 when he started at that 11 position. Bringing up Bryce Campbell. Bryce Campbell is a guy that's been around for a long time. He started 15 matches that he played in. over 300 meters gained, 2 tries on the season, but the big thing, 138 tackles with 115 fantasy points on the year. And he had 121.8 last year. Like he was just a staple center that would be in your lineup each and every single week. So congratulations to Bryce Campbell and Christian Dyer for fantastic careers. And again, throwing Kurt Baker in there as well. And well wishes back in New Zealand. Lastly, kind of an over encompassing, Maddie, and this kind of brings into, I guess, your NPC Bunnings expertise. But we have an official list thanks to, you mentioned him earlier, James Dealey, friend of the show, runner of MLR stats in the North American Rugby database. He's compiled a nice little list for us and players that will be heading to NPC Bunnings. Why don't you give the weekly or yearly, I guess, PSA on what this means for these players? There are a total of 30 that are heading to 12 different NPC Bunnings teams this season, with that league kicking off for the first time this past week.
Yeah, it means nothing. And except now, if they were on either San Diego or LA or NOLA, they might not have a team next year.
Have you seen this list, Maddie?
I have. I didn't read through it. I just have been going through the teams.
I mean, it's the biggest names, right? Like, I mean, Joe Johnson, Richard Judd, Nick Grigg, Frank Lahore, LaRue Milan, Lincoln McClutchy, Liam Coltman, Dan Hollinshead, Peter Aneasu, D'Angelo Leoila, Sam Kerr, Jordan Trainer. Like, I guess this is kind of like the thing. These are the best players you expect to be kind of playing in the NPC Bunnings, and hopefully, fingers crossed, are back with the MLR in 2026.
Yeah. I mean, New Zealand produces great players.
All right. Let's now shift on over to 2 more departures. I don't think these players will be back. They're heading to Japan. It's time to say goodbye to Reese McDonald, Los Angeles. His fantasy stats can speak for themselves. Obviously, most on his time with New England. He joins the NEC Green Rockets Takatsu in Japan alongside Dylan Nell, Utah Warriors, also signing with that same club in Japan. Nice. 2 marquee fantasy MLR guys and staples of Major League Rugby for the past handful of seasons, finding that stepping stone to now play in Japan. I believe, if I've read correctly, is following Dylan Nell, following his father's footsteps in playing in Japan.
Good for both of them. That's where you get the money. And yeah, they both deserve it.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. All right. Let's get to the tough news, okay? The first one, I'm going to get out of the way. Not going to really react to this. Not really going to say it, but it is something that obviously we got to mention. But Brady Daniel, Old Glory DC player, was arrested and charged with rape in Arlington last week after an alleged incident. Obviously, we have to let the court system and everything kind of play out. But obviously, from a fantasy perspective, Brady Daniel was a guy that was kind of in and out of the lineup, had 2 appearances this past year. So from a fantasy sense, not really impactful. But again, just
yeah, I guess who cares about his fantasy? Like, just be better. Yeah. There's rugby had enough controversies that happen worldwide. And one of the key things that I love about rugby, at least, and I know Ryan does, and I know Vandy had learned, is that you're you're a good player, but a better person. And that's what you should always strive for. So yeah, just be better.
I think we'll just leave it at that. All right, let's get to the news I think everyone is reacting to. Okay. The first is the announcement that the San Diego Legion and RFC Los Angeles are merging to form what is now being called the California Legion. They will split home games over 3 to 4 venues between San Diego, Los Angeles, and Orange County. I would have gone with the name the SoCal Legion, but to each his own. The statement coming from the team, according to the CEO of Adam Fryer of the California Legion, and also the CEO or the commissioner, Nick Benson of the league, coming out saying that, quote, "This is a unifying vision for the sport of rugby across California. We are fortunate to have a group of owners and advisors that have a shared vision." Nick Benson goes on to say, "By combining resources, talent, and passion, we'll create a franchise that reflects the full potential of rugby in the state, from youth development to professional excellence." That was said by Adam Fryer. Nick Benson went on to say, quote, "Major League Rugby will always prioritize long-term growth of the game in the U.S., delivering an exceptional on-field product and an incredible fan experience, and the California Legion is a way to showcase that in Southern California." I mean, I'll just leave it at you, Maddie. What's your reaction to this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's a lot of chatter about the fact that they're taking one of the best, I guess, fan in terms of support, like one of the best supporting crew of the San Diego Legion, and combine them with a not as good fan base,
Mhm.
and basically just spreading across the two and making it harder for those dedicated fans of the San Diego Legion to make it to half the games. That's one way to look at it. I think the other way to look at it is that a state is uniting to cheer for a single team that has presumably a lot more resources, that is presumably going to have a lot better talent, even better than what the two teams already had, and presumably are going to put on a show for the fans no matter where they are. And like this isn't a new concept. In Super Rugby, for example, they often some of these like the Chiefs or the Hurricanes will have games in different stadiums across the province. Is it a regular thing? Like, do they have a home stadium? Yes, but still, it still can work. And I think we might be surprised about how well this works out. So yeah, I mean, not much else. I'm curious to see, and maybe we can get some thoughts from some of the players that we know and friend of the show, Co, of like, how is this? What's happening for the players, and what's this from a player's perspective?
Yeah. Yeah. I think again, more information is going to come out. I think a lot of fans are reactionary in terms of you're taking a team that just began with RFCLA that maybe was still continuing to build their fan followership, and you're kind of merging that with the San Diego Legion. Like people were asking, like, what is the win scenario for the Legion in this
Yeah,
circumstance? Um, I
I
mean,
mean,
I
I think San Diego probably must have been having some rough years as well. Like they didn't have a great outlook on where they're going.
yeah.
Right? Like you think about last year, how last season where they had the record attendance for the home opener,
Hmm.
and then this year they moved stadiums,
Right.
right? They
I
moved
believe so.
stadiums. Um, I don't think that's right.
Hold on, let
Anyways,
me.
like they didn't have that same record attendance for the home opener this year. Um, and so it's kind of like maybe this was writing on the wall. I think maybe the most concerning part about this is why would you start a new LA team if you're only going to merge them in the
Yeah.
following year?
Yeah.
So this clearly had some sort of unexpectedness to it for the league, and that they felt like they had to take these measures. So I'm interested to know more about that. And yeah, I'm interested to see how it turns out.
Yeah. Again, don't want to kind of divulge too much. I would, again, we're going
This
to
is
work hard
yeah,
to get
this is what I'll
players.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'll say, and I will kind of announce here, I guess, Ryan. Like the last news is obviously the fact that NOLA Gold is not participating in
Hmm.
2026, and we'll discuss more with that. I know there's a lot of conversation right now about the league folding, and I know I'm usually the one to take a negative outlook on this.
Hmm.
But I don't think that there's a cause for concern. I was kind of looking at it earlier, and maybe it's a bit of a harder comparison. But I will compare it because these are rugby is a niche sport, whether we like it or not. In America, it is a niche sport,
Hmm.
and it's the same can be said a lot about the women's leagues across different avenues. You look at the women's softball league, who started just this year; they had 4 teams this year. You look at the PWHL, for those of you who don't know, is a professional women's hockey league. They have 6 teams, and I think they've been around for over 5, 6 years, and they're still at 6 teams. I think they maybe expanded once. You're looking at the WNBA. They have 13 teams. They've been around for years and have continued to be around because of their ability to be backed by the WNBA. So just looking at perspective like that, um, to me, it's just like I think we underestimate how well a league can kind of, or how much a league fluctuates in its first, I don't know, 10 years. And we keep comparing it to leagues like the NHL, like the NFL, like the NBA. And it's just, and even like the MLS has been around for over 20 years now. And they started with the same first 3 years, 10 teams, 12 teams, back to 10 teams.
Yeah.
Like, I think we just have to ride this wave, at least until that US World Cup. And I think we then just carry the momentum off of that as long
Yeah.
as that goes well.
Well, and I think that's the point here. I think I understand. I should say this to kind of wrap this portion up is that I understand the cause for concern, right? I understand it's another off season where I think a lot of people were feeling at least decent about the competition that we were having, and the fact that, again, here's another year where we're dealing with teams leaving and merging and doing all these things. So I get it. I think there's a sense of exhaustion there that is happening. But to your point, Maddie, I think people do need to take a deep breath. I do think that with the Rugby World Cup coming to U.S. soil, in a handful of years' times, buys this league some time. Come, in those years after following the World Cup, that's a different conversation that we can have, right? But I think there is a lifeline to your point, Maddie, where I think the league has the excuse to kind of fluctuate, grow, and kind of go through its growing pains. I know it's been long, and you expect and you would hope that, with the amount of time that this league has been around, for them to not have to deal with that. But to Maddie's point, it's inevitable, and things do happen. And again, with a niche sport, it's even more magnified like that. So let's take a deep breath. Obviously, not what we want to see, but I think there is still time to kind of right the ship here and continue this trajectory of keeping the MLR alive. And again, in turn, keep fantasy MLR alive moving forward, which is obviously our number one goal. Just quickly, Maddie, to kind of wrap this up in a nutshell, I thought this was fascinating, though, to kind of say this. With the NOLA Gold announcing that they will not participate in 2026, we have lost two founding teams in the span of 2 days with the Legion and the NOLA Gold. But
Legion are technically there.
Mark Fitzpatrick at Mark Fitz on Twitter, I saw a post from him, and I did the math to verify all this. There have now been more ex-MLR teams than the number of current teams in this league right now. So obviously we've lost Giltinis, Gilgronis, Jackals, Arrows, Raptors, Legion, Gold, Ironworkers, Rugby Atlanta, Los Angeles, and we have the 9 teams that we're left with now. So
way to round this off with some positivity, Ryan. Thank you.
I only say that because despite that, if you had to put a scale on 1 to 10 of your cause for concern, Maddie, to kind of wrap this in a nutshell, where are you standing at?
Well, I was positive, and now you said that, so now I'm back at a 2. I was at a 5. Now I'm back at a 2, so thank you. I think the viewers appreciate that as well.
I'll stay with a 5 there. I even despite that news, again, growing pains, like I said, either way.
Growing pains? You just cut your legs off. What do you mean? You just basically said that the league has a standing full body and cut everything down from their belly button.
No, I just said that there's
That's more. What you just said. You just said we became a paraplegic as a league. Like, what do you mean it's 5 out of 10?
No, we're the crabs that can grow back limbs.
If we were a lifespan,
yes,
of expectancy of 80 years,
yeah,
you're saying we're at 70. That's what you just said.
No, I didn't.
You just said we're on the other side of the half. We've killed more than we've lost. Than we have.
I see.
Have left.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But either way, we still have 9 teams, I think is the point there. Either way, I'm still at a positive 5.
Yeah, is that your optimism?
That's my optimism. Your optimism. That's my half glass full there.
We killed 12
keep an eye out.
Don't worry, there's 9. That's not even half glass. It's 3/4. That's a quarter of a glass left.
We'll keep an eye out.
You're gonna drink it. It's gone.
Any more news that does come
5
out?
Out of 10.
It didn't take much to send you back on the negative side of things, huh?
I told you it was unlikely to be positive about it, and you just came in and ruined it completely. Now I'm back. Now I'm back on the negative Nancy side.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for doing that. I apologize.
Yeah, you should be.
I apologize.
Should be.
Speaking of which, MLR draft right around the corner. Nice segue
Who
there.
Cares? This is even more negative. The MLR draft stinks.
They did extend the deadline to August 13th, which I believe the original deadline was the end of July. James Dealer, I feel like we're name dropping a lot, but he on Twitter did kind of tag that and said, "Hey, does this mean that we're having an influx of talent, or what? Why is there this extension?" And
nobody's applying.
We got a message from Brandon Sparks that said, check back on Tuesday. So at the time of the release of this podcast, there may be something out that is addressing this from the league. So
we got a message.
Who knows? No. The Brandon Sparks replied on Twitter to James's message saying, check back Tuesday with regards to this extension. So we'll see what that means. And then we're going to talk about this a little bit more with Callum Botchar coming up right around the corner. But North American attendance record in Ottawa for the Canada-US women's game when it comes to a women's game played on North American soil, 42-10, over 11,000 at TD Place. We'll talk with Callum how that's motivating the Canadian squad heading into their test on the men's side of things on August 22nd. I'm sure our US listeners would love to hear. Last thing, though. Just some housekeeping stuff that we need to take care of before we head in.
There's no way There's
our
no
interview
way
with
we need
Callum
this
Botchar.
segment. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. I don't understand how you can still be Supreme Commissioner and just nuke positivity like that.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Hear ye, hear ye. Here is your positive,
No,
Supreme Commissioner Yee.
probably not. How many teams of ours are getting cut off?
None. We're only expanding. Only expansion here in Fantasy MLR. That was good though, Maddie. Almost caught me off guard. No, there's not much to say here. All I'm gonna say
Why do
is
you even
that
have it? What do you're just
No, I
having
just
this
need-
just to have it?
I just want to reassure
What?
the fans about Fantasy MLR that no matter what, as long as we have an MLR league, this is going to be something that lives strong. We've had our best season yet, and we're going to continue that momentum forward. And that is something. See, this is what I'm
good.
doing,
A
right? I am
transparent
learning from the
commissioner.
MLR
Thank
and how I
goodness.
could be a better
Thank
run a
goodness.
proper league. Is that good?
Our leagues might have to be 8 teams though. No 10 league teams.
Yeah,
no 10 team leagues.
Then might be. With that being said, again, we took the week off to kind of digest all the crazy news that was happening. So what we alluded to last episode with Andrew Quattrin about the feedback form and the TFR awards form, that will be happening and being released, and we will have that come our next episode in 2 weeks' time. So we will be returning on the Fantasy Ruckers show here. What is that? August 18th. I believe, coming out here, August 18th, the week of August 18th. So that will be our TFR award show. I know it's been long awaited for. We'll be sending out the forms, getting that feedback in, and doing all that in the coming weeks to do that. So yeah, off next week. Maddie's going to be out in the boonies camping. I will be out in the Outer Banks.
I am.
And that should be fun. Still the off season for us, and hopefully we don't come back from our vacations with 4 teams left. Oh God! All right,
I'm not gonna have any service. So I won't.
All right. I can't believe I didn't use this drop for Andrew Quattrin, but it is time to bring on our new friend of the show, NOLA Gold's Callum Botchar.
Sin Binterview.
And we are pleased to be joined with a new friend of the show. Maddie knows him pretty well. NOLA Gold's Callum Botchar, second row player, joining the Fantasy Ruckers show for the first time. Callum,
Hello, hello.
Finally, we were just talking that you're a name that Maddie has brought up many, many, many times. The guy we've had to have on the Fantasy Ruckers show. We're 164 episodes into this thing, and finally we are able to grant that wish. So I'll leave it to you, Callum. Why is it that Maddie wanted you on the show that bad, and how far do you guys go back? How do you guys know each other? The fact that we could bring you here on the Fantasy Ruckers show.
Well, me and Maddie know each other from way back in university. I don't know why he'd want me on the show so badly. Back at UBC. No, we go back like, I don't know. I think we met my second year, third year. Then we became roommates. Just became fast friends from there. Every day it was awesome having Maddie as a roommate. My first roommate, actually, from being away from home. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's a big one.
I do remember that. And absolute weapon, this guy, 10 o'clock p.m. before bed, turns to me, shirtless, by the way. Shirtless, pajama pants on. Unreal combo. Looks at me and goes, you know what I'm going to do to start getting gains? I'm just going to start eating peanut butter and yogurt before bed. And every night I would see him raid the fridge, pull out some yogurt, pull out some PB, and now he's 20 kilograms heavier, and it worked.
So it worked.
What a weapon.
Right.
Yep.
So basically, Maddie, because you weren't on the peanut butter yogurt diet is why you're sitting here on this show having to hang out with us.
I moved 20 kilograms in the other direction because I couldn't keep up.
That's not
keep up with that
university
type
in a
of grind.
nutshell. Honestly,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Honestly.
you struggle to get by. We're doing Costco runs.
$1.50 hot dogs. Man.
Yeah, Costco hot dog on the way out. What can I do to get bigger? I remember smacking granola mix, trail mix.
I'll start off with this though, as we get into a little bit more serious, just because I do want to, and I don't even think I've said this to you in person, Callum, but like, I remember rooming with you, and every time after practice, I feel like every time after games, every time after this, it's like, hey, what can I do to get better? What can I do to do this? What can I do to get bigger? What can I do to get like better at this in the scrum, better in the line out? And it's honestly, it makes it that much sweeter to see your name in these lineups, in the NOLA Gold lineup, in the Rugby Canada lineup, probably going to be part of the squad moving forward, like a regular name in the squad, which is awesome. And it's been awesome to kind of be along with you for that year. I think while I was crippled that year, well, for that year, being alongside of you, being able to see that whole process and the start of it, unreal. Glad to see you here. Haven't got a chance to even chat with you much since. But yeah, it's been absolutely incredible.
I appreciate it, man.
Callum, this is how Maddie relives his UBC Thunderbird glory days through you guys like you. He loves to reshare these stories to make sure that he remembers it.
Yeah,
so.
true. I remember playing with Maddie. What was it? One
I
of our
remember
first
playing
games.
with you, Botch.
No, one of our first games, UBC Capilano. I remember I was like super pissed off because I wasn't on birds, and then me and him just tore up Capilano.
Just Botch, not me.
I remember you had a smoke of a box kick, just pinned Capilano down there. I was like, let's go.
Okay, so before we then move on that note, Callum, if you had to rank on the list of nines that you've had the honor and opportunity to play with, where does Maddie sit on that list? I don't like this.
He plays for Canada and he played with Luke Campbell.
All of them. I'm just saying, where does Maddie lie in that list? It's interesting to me. I'm pretty sure like Brock put you up like right there, right? Didn't he? Last time we talked about this as a teammate. Obviously,
Brock can't play with other nines. He's a 9.
No, but as a practice, like working in on the same squad, either way. But Cal, where does Maddie stand? Don't be hesitant to be lethal with him.
Say top 10, not 10. Top 10, not 10.
I'd say, Maddie, I'd say has to be probably top 10 because the grind that we'd go through every day, the work ethic, I'd see him on his iPad watching the Canes on TSN Plus. It was a shame when I was like, is he playing anymore? Is he not? Because it was awesome playing with you, and you're a really talented player. So I would say up there.
Top 10 for off the field work ethic.
That's just because you knew where to get the cheap.
How many nines you played with, Callum?
Oh,
10.
Over under 15.
Probably over.
Exactly
over
10
for sure.
Matt's putting that on his resume. Maddie, then finally, out of second row players that you've played with, where does Callum rank?
I mean, I haven't played with much, so my pedigree is not as pedigree as
Don't be afraid to build them up, Matt.
When I was
you can tear me
at
down
the time
too.
of playing Botch, I would say on 100%. This is what I will say: Botch was the craziest, not just second rower, by far the craziest forward I've seen on the field in terms of just actually the only word for it is absolute psychotic craziness.
Yeah.
And Botch knows. He knows. Yeah. Everybody who plays with him knows.
Well,
I have seen him yell at little 5'7" 9s more than anybody ever.
Yeah.
There you go.
I still do.
Yeah, he still does.
I somehow get into a fight every game.
In between the front row as a lock, just yelling at dudes.
Well, there you go.
It's crazy.
Boy, always fun to kind of relive those UBC Thunderbird days. Like I said, Maddie always loves the opportunity to do that. But Callum, we got a lot of other stuff on the plate here. I feel like we obviously started a little lighthearted, but it feels like the MLR has been hit by quite a bit of crazy news over the course of the past week or so. And it does feel like every offseason we're like kind of like, okay, we've reached a good threshold here where the league is in a good spot, and then we kind of get blindsided by something that we didn't necessarily foresee. Last year, we obviously had the Dallas Jackals. This year, on top of the San Diego Legion and RFCLA merger that was announced, there was also the announcement that NOLA Gold wouldn't be participating in 2026, which came to a pretty big shock, I think, to everyone, honestly. I think there was a air of kind of mysteriousness, maybe, if that's the right word, or just kind of it's interesting because such a short statement released by the team and posted on socials, and really not many people knowing kind of what's going on. So again, appreciate you coming on the show to kind of chat with us and offer your perspective as a player of the NOLA Gold. I guess I'll start off by, Callum, the announcement. Like, when did you guys find out that this was going to be a thing? And what was the reaction from you and your teammates when they heard that this was going to be a thing, that NOLA was not going to be a part of the league?
Yeah, it was kind of weird because in my situation, um, I like almost luckily but unluckily, I was just out of my contract period. So
Mm.
for 2026, it was up in the air whether I'd go back, whether I'd sign to another team. But it was just kind of like it kind of hit me because first MLR team, first MLR cap, first professional team I've been on. Um, it was just kind of like we had this players meeting, and I was talking because I've a bunch of good mates on NOLA, just playing with the guys for the past 2 seasons and just chatting to them who still live there. I was like, what's going on? We had this players meeting with the players union, like Chris Mattina,
Mm-hmm.
just the player reps and stuff. And people were just asking, I was like, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And then like the group chat with the players chat is just like, hey, there's a call. I don't know if you guys got, or one of my mates said in the chat, I don't know if you guys got this email, but be on for this tomorrow. Pretty much telling the boys that, yeah, it's done. And I think it's like a blindsiding thing because NOLA's been such a cornerstone
Yeah.
Of a team in the MLR, even though we made our first playoff game last year, but we are always kind of like that, just almost on the cusp, but there's NOLA was always around. And I think that goes to the club roots that the club had in New Orleans. What I don't think a lot of people know is that New Orleans itself has a very rich rugby club kind of culture. So you know how there's the ARP in America where there's kind of like the BC Pram or the Ontario Club League. They have the NORFC, which regularly compete in that ARP. And then they have like 4 or 5 different clubs around the city. So there's one in like the West Bank Crew, there's the Po Boys, Harahan Coyotes, a bunch of these different clubs. So and LSU, a lot of these guys go to LSU, find rugby there, come to these clubs later. And so how NOLA started was this: the owner Tim Falcon, or old owner, he made this club he got inspired because he saw the MLR. He's like, we could do this. So we got a bunch of investors, and yeah, it was a big hit because it's so tied to the city of New Orleans. And people actually, like, there's Saints fans, there's Pelicans fans, but there are dedicated Gold fans.
Mm-hmm. And that's honestly from outside view looking in, Botch, is like NOLA has had such a good community presence, at least what we've seen on social media. They've had a good social media presence, and they've never seemed like, even when you watch the games live, you never saw what looked to be a faltering organization. Like it always looked steady. It looked like NOLA was one of the teams we never had to worry about. And that's why I was like, for me, it was just such a shock. Like you're saying, like if it was a shock for you on the outside looking in, like I can only imagine like kind of the shock for the players in the team.
So there was then, Callum, if I'm kind of assuming correctly, then there wasn't then any kind of build up to this where you guys had a feeling that this was a possibility. It does seem like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it was really, oh, here's a meeting that's happening and kind of the rug being pulled under you. Big, this is it. This is what we have to deal with. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it was kind of like I unfortunately was around when Toronto folded. I was contracted to go to Toronto just in the 2024 season. And then there was kind of a buildup there with Bill Webb passing and then the unclarity of what's going to happen. So there was that buildup with Toronto to eventually was like, okay, we can't do this. Excuse me. But with NOLA, it was like, actually out of the blue, there's like people saying, no, we're okay. There's some boys being like, no, like, it's done. I heard that one of the owners kept rejecting the budget for the league for him to, or for that they had to propose to the league. and for them to run the next year. So I was like, okay, NOLA's going to have a team. And then, yeah, see you later.
Wow. Crazy. What
right before
you
you get to that, you were talking about kind of your contract situation and now your unique situation where your contract was coming up. Were you having conversations with the organization moving up to this, or were you not even at that point yet overall in like your off season?
Yeah, that's so as soon as like the season was done, I kind of moved on to like to try to go for the like national side and then kind of focus on that. But I was talking to my agent and I was like, yeah, can we like let's get the chats going because I have loads of mates there and it's kind of tough to move a team when like that's the team that you started with and you like it so much. But by the end of the season, just with how things were going, I could kind of feel like maybe my time here is done. And so then I asked them, and they actually said they weren't going to extend my contract. So it was unfortunate, but yeah,
yeah, fair enough.
Let's talk about and kind of, I guess, reflecting and reminiscing on the awesome time that you had in NOLA. Let's name some of the players, and you tell us kind of how fun it was to play with some of these guys, right? Like,
yeah,
Jonah Mo, like, the guy's a mutant. Like watching him, he's so fun to watch. Such a dynamic back row player. Like he's a guy that pops off the screen for me. Aiden King, even this year, like I think his name was in there for Rookie of the Year. Definitely one of the guys there. Xavier McNo, obviously a guy that kind of had a quick impact and a short stay in NOLA, but he was fun to watch. Ed Fido, another guy that I know a bunch of Canadian boys have kind of passed across. But I named some of those guys. Like name some of the guys that for you where it was special to watch and play, and that experience of getting to play with some of these like marquee guys that are just so good at rugby, and what was it like for you to kind of take the pitch with them every single day?
It was pretty cool. Like and one cool experience was Cam Dolan, him being a second row as well. I think the most winningest Eagle. Who knows how many tries he has. He's played in Europe. Came to NOLA. He was at actually San Diego first, but it was cool with him because his teaching me the line out and the line out experience he had. Also, just knowing his game knowledge because he's high rugby IQ because he's been in the game so long. That was a pretty cool experience. I learned a lot from him. Another person that was cool to play with was Jordan Jackson Hope. He was unfortunately he wasn't on the team this year just due to injuries and stuff, but he was like just such a gun player, just into everything. And yeah, it was pretty cool, just eye-opening to like what professional rugby is. So cool. to name a few, because there's so many of the boys that are gun.
Is Jonah Mo just as electric on the TV screen when we watch as it is in practice?
Yeah, you know, Jonah's always he's always bringing the vibes. So he's always, you know, he's the music guy. He's always on the music. He's always dancing, kind of he's goofing off, like just he's a great culture guy. In training too, just mahi dog, just gets through work like he just, and you know he holds the boys accountable as well. So like he's been there and he knows. So and he expects everybody to be at a certain standard. So he competes and pushes as well, which is cool. So there's like that balancing side where it's like, yeah, he gets hard in training and like, you know, he has fun too.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's a common occurrence when we talk with the players. Like the Kiwis on these teams are always the quote unquote vibe guys. Isn't it? I feel like that's always the thing with the Kiwis there. Callum, what made playing in NOLA when it comes to a fan perspective so special? What made that fan base? If you had a message to them, I think again, this is a platform that we want to give you to kind of kind of encapsulate what your 2-year experience was like in New Orleans. Like if you had a message for fans of NOLA, who I know there's a bunch that watch this podcast and listen to this podcast, like what do you say to them, and how special was it to play in front of some of these people?
Man, it's super special. I mean, I just want to say thank you to these guys because they are there, rain or shine. Like, because we get some rain down in NOLA, like it storms and the regulars are there and they actually try to preach rugby to other people to try to get them to our games. The fan base is so it's a special thing, especially in NOLA. I know people talk about like the Free Jacks fans and fans around the league, but it's a different breed down in Louisiana. Like they're just always there. And the cool thing about NOLA is, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a game, but they have this thing called the Party Shack, which after the game, you don't see it on camera, but after the game, all the fans, doesn't matter if you're a VIP, regular person, first time at a game, you can all go to this thing called the Party Shack, which is beside the seating area of the stadium, which is like kind of like a big open area, and where fans can chat with players. And like you can talk, you just get drinks, there's bands there.
What a great idea.
Yeah, it's really
what
cool.
What a great idea.
It's a way that we can interact with the fans. And after you have your feed and talk to your boys, you go over and you sign some kid's shirt or hat or ball, and you like talk to like the parents, or you're talking to other fans who are like, oh, good game, or we almost had it, that kind of thing. So it like that's what made it special. And we always had like for all the season ticket holders, we go on this big steamboat at the beginning of the year, ride around the Mississippi, and you chat to them. So you really got to be connected with the fans, and they always knew you by name, because what NOLA did, they have a program with all your faces. Like, okay, oh, you're this guy. Oh yeah, good job, Callum. That kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool.
You ever had any other team stop into that club thing?
Yeah. The other team is 100% allowed to be in the Party Shack.
Oh man, that would be so sick.
Everyone's welcome in the Party Shack.
Great idea.
When DJ Rude Boy's around, that was the DJ I was always there. So we so it's kind of, I don't know, it's weird if you don't know the layout of the stadium, but off to the side where the benches are, you'd have like our food. So you'd grab your feed, was your barbecue, whatever you have after a game kind of stuff. You go sit at a bunch of picnic tables, and then you go and have a drink and just chat. And you can chat at the benches, and fans will come over. They talk to them, because sometimes there's like dual fans. We want them to be more with NOLA, but they can support whoever they want, I guess.
I guess reluctantly.
Yeah.
Just turn that side away from them.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess then, Callum, before we kind of I still want to talk a little bit about Rugby Canada, obviously, because you're in the thick of that as well. Obviously, we've got some fantasy numbers for you, and I do have some quick hitting questions for you. But to kind of put a bow on this harder conversation, I know when we talk in off air that obviously there's still a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes. I mean, again, to kind of reiterate to our listeners, like all we've heard from NOLA so far, everything seemed fine and dandy up until the kind of end of July 21st, where they had some social posts. And then July 31st was when the announcement was posted on socials that it's short. NOLA Gold has informed the league that we do not intend to participate in the 2026 season. Discussions are ongoing with the league regarding future opportunities and potential pathways forward, period. Like that's it. So I guess I'll lend it off to you. Whatever you can divulge. Again, I think we all know that there's still things that are happening in the background that we may not be able to talk about or you can't disclose to us. But for fans, especially NOLA fans, I think that kind of just want some closure or just want to know what's next for them or anything like that. I'm sure there's going to be more information that comes out in the next coming weeks or so. But for you as a player, what can you say is next for the NOLA Gold community? And then ultimately, I guess I'd love to ask you what's next for you as a pro player that's now looking for their next step here.
Yeah. So what I can kind of what I do know for sure is that they pulled out of the 2026 season, and like they just say that they're focusing on rugby development in the area, and I believe that they're looking to re-enter in 2027, these new owners. So that's what I do know for sure. I don't know what else. That's just what they've told us as well.
Okay.
On the player side, so we'll see what that looks like. I mean, hopefully they get back, but I would be it'd be really sad to see that team gone because, I mean, it affects like the clubs and everything like that. And so it'd be really sad. But as for me, I don't know. I'm just trying to see what my options are at the moment. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff going behind the scenes with the MLRPA and the MLR themselves. So we just kind of have to, and especially with NOLA, they're not doing a dispersal. So it's just free agents. And especially with San Diego and LA, I believe that's also free agents as well. So
is there a team, Callum, that you would want to like?
Let us be your agents here on the show.
If you had a choice, is there a team that you would kind of are thinking like, yeah, it would be awesome to play for that squad?
Well, I'd say, I mean, the diplomatic answer is, anybody. I just want to play ball. But if there were two that I'd choose, it'd probably be either like Utah, Seattle. It's close to home.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
My missus lives in Victoria, and that's where I live when I'm not in the season. So I'd be with her, but that'd be kind of a bit easier. Or Chicago. Two of my best mates play for Chicago or Utah. So with Emerson Pryor and Matawaru. So it'd be just be good to be with them. But I mean, I'll play ball anywhere. I love ball. So
hell yeah.
There you go. Well, let's then talk about kind of the ball that you're playing right now. Obviously in the midst of training camp here with Rugby Canada, you got a test against the Eagles coming up pretty soon here.
Yeah.
I guess we'll look on and do kind of a quick recap of kind of what your summer test series has looked like so far. Kind of a tougher one for you guys. Obviously a tough loss to Belgium, a nail biter against Spain. And then now you got the USA match coming up. So how does Rugby Canada and from your insight kind of feel right now? I know a lot of fans have been quite critical of the program as of late because of the want for there to be results. But as a crucial piece of this Rugby Canada squad, what's kind of your thoughts and how are the boys feeling heading into this USA match?
We feel pretty confident. I think everybody's pretty fired up, especially because, I mean, we all play in the U.S. There's no Canadian team, unfortunately, which I will say if there is, I'd like to play for them. But
let's go. I'd love to hear it.
There you go.
I mean, I can only attest for myself, but I'm sure it's the same for the other guys. You just hear it from the Americans. You just hear it. They're just always on you. Where we beat you the last few times, all this. So I think we're pretty fired up. Especially this is a World Cup qualifying match. It's nothing to take lightly. So just to be able to get that win on August 22nd on home soil would be like special, because I think our summer test series, new coach. And so like it's new chemistry, new playing style. So I think we're just building up. Belgium played throughout kind of like that. They play in that kind of second div thing, and Spain plays a lot as well. So I feel like we're building up. We're just getting there. We're trying to kind of like take the rust off, and I think we'll be a well-oiled machine by the time we get to the States. I have full confidence in it. So that's we're tight knit. We're all feeling good. Camp is, this is just the start of camp. It's our third day. So yeah, I think we're feeling good.
Love to. Are you at that same park that like provincials would always be at?
Yes.
Nationals?
That's where we're training for our we're doing 2-a-days. So that's where our second.
Oh, that place sucked.
Rugby. What is it? Calgary Rugby Park?
Who knows?
Yeah, there's heaps of mosquitoes. Oh
God!
Putting on bug spray. I'm like,
you got to worry about the sunscreen first, buddy.
Well, what do you think I apply first? It's a pre-layer and then a post-layer.
Yeah, that's base coat of sunscreen.
And post-layer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Callum, you see the women 42-10 victory over USA. They set a record for the number of people in attendance, 11,453 for a standalone North American women's rugby match.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that that could be something that you guys experience, not obviously like I don't want to put apples because it's a different environment, but like the fact that that support is there, like people are hungry for Canadian success. Then you have the women go out there and kind of set a precedent for you. And now in, I guess what, two weeks time, it's going to be your turn to kind of get your job done. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
seeing that result against the Americans, how much does that fire you up and kind of fuel that drive that sounds like is already there, but this kind of takes it to another notch?
Oh, it's massive. We were all watching, and that was like the first 20 minutes. The U.S. kind of got up on them, but our girls just kept at it, stayed at it, and they played amazing, and then ended up breaking open the game. The no way the U.S. could come back from that. I mean, we should have scored way more, but there's just some calls that were there that, kind of almost helped the U.S. not get embarrassed as much. But I think it's massive because I think Canadian rugby fans are hungry for it. They want to see a strong union, men and women, and the women are just doing that for us. But I think come August 22nd, I really hope we can supply the fans that win. So
Let's go.
There you go. Gets me fired up. That's for sure. I'm sure our American listeners will think otherwise, and I'll have some words for you, Callum. But either way,
okay, I'll take it.
That's been the dynamic and the tightrope that we walk on this show between our USA and Canadian love.
You know what? They're always great matches.
all in good fun when it comes to rugby.
It was all awesome when the Four Nations hockey was going on, and Americans in New Orleans not knowing hockey, or even my teammates not really watching hockey, and be like, "Oh, US beat the States, US beat Canada, US beat Canada." I was like, "Well, yeah, pool match."
Just wait.
You just wait.
There you
go.
go.
The grin I had on my face that day, it was beautiful.
Oh.
All right, let's then, as we wrap this up, Callum, don't want to keep you too much longer. Let's talk about obviously what everyone's here to talk about outside of the NOLA stuff is fantasy. I got your fantasy stats pulled up here. You had seven matches that you played this year, 3 that you started, a total of 254 minutes. If you had to guess how many total fantasy points you got this fantasy season and where that puts you out of all second row players in the league, we track everyone. No one can hide. Where do you think that goes? We track tries, meters gained, try assists, tackles, breakdown steals, and turnovers.
Oh, geez.
Where do you think you go amongst them? Do you want okay, here. Let me give you a kind of a.
I think, can I say Sam Gola is probably at the top?
Let me pull it up here. So, no, Frank Lahore is up at the top.
Oh, I know Frankie quite well. So
124.2 fantasy points he got.
100, how much?
124.2. Okay.
24.2. Okay.
Sam Gola got 86.4.
Oh, wow.
How much did Callum Botchar get? And where does he sit amongst the second row players?
Oh, gee. Number one. Nah, I'm just.
Yeah, there you go. I think the point being, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think it just highlights
40 or 50, hopefully. 40 or 50.
Hell yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I think
you are, drum roll, please. The second row 38.
Oh, okay. I was 2 off.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So better than you thought. 13 and a half fantasy points total.
I think they did you dirty this
season.
Yeah.
I think
Ryan miscounted.
Last year was your breakout year.
That is true.
To continue that, and NOLA just didn't do it.
You had 56.1 fantasy points in 2024.
It was a sick year.
That was a sick year. Your highest game was off the bench at 12 and a half, where you somehow scored 2 tries as a lock. You probably remember that game.
Seattle. That was the first.
There you go. So that happened.
Try,
That happened in week 11 of 2024. If I had to ask you what was your best game this season, you scored 13 and a half on the year. What do you think your best game was?
San Diego away, I think, was my best game. I think I had 15
he knows
tackles,
it down to the T.
6 carries and 32 ruck
Weapon.
rivals
Yeah,
with
you
25
did.
meters
Yeah.
gained.
Yeah,
Damn.
you did.
Don't
Damn
cut
right you
yourself
did.
short. It was 17 guys.
So 13 and a half fantasy points on the year, 7.6 of those coming out of that one matchup. So yeah, you got it on a tee there, Callum. Pretty damn good.
Thank
Um,
you.
if I had to then ask you to wrap it up,
Yeah.
let's ask with some of your former teammates with the NOLA Gold. Who do you think was the highest point scorer on the NOLA Gold?
Oh, uh, can I get a hint, forward or back?
Forward.
Forward.
It's got to be Jonah.
Mm-hmm. Jonah Moe,
Nailed it.
184.2 fantasy points. He was actually
Holy
this.
hecka.
He was the second highest point scorer in all of fantasy. He
What
only
a
was
beast.
behind Joe Mono by 3 fantasy points.
Yeah, Joe was a beast
Yeah.
this year.
So Jonah was the highest NOLA Gold player. JP Duplessis coming up behind 112.7, and then
Yeah.
Cooper Coates at 112.3.
Yeah,
What a
Coop.
year.
The other three triple digit scorers, Julian Roberts,
Yep.
111.1, Aiden King, 104, Xavier McNeau, 102.1. So those are your big boys. Who do you think the highest second row player was? The highest scoring second row player in your squad?
Oh. Um, okay. Hold on. I'm trying to think so I want to say Jay Tuivati. Is
Mm.
That's a very good guess, but no, he's actually the fourth.
really? Okay, let me.
Mhm,
Okay, who was our second rows? We had Wags, William
mhm,
Wagisbeck, Cam
mhm,
Dolan.
mhm.
Oh, I think. Hold on. Me, Chase Jones, Malcolm May, but then against the Free Jack. Is it Chase Jones?
Chase
Yeah.
Jones,
Nailed it.
Wow.
43 fantasy points for him.
Chase Jones has, if you want, you get him on the podcast. He has a very cool story.
Is
It's
that all we get?
no. I'll tell you about his story coming from the Gales at St. Mary's in
Okay.
California. Drafted to NOLA, I believe, and then before his first ever game in the captain's run, tears his Achilles. Just non-contact, bang,
Oh,
Oh,
gone.
damn.
Then he counted it. It was like 734 days before he played his first ever rugby game against Utah, or yeah, against Utah week 3 away, and then took off and look where he is
damn.
now. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Oh, yeah.
if you want to know more about that, like I'd ask him, but that's his story. Just
All
he
righty.
was, and last year he was grinding. He was in the facility
I
every
can
day
only
on the
imagine.
scooter. He had 4 surgeries with his Achilles because it just kept getting infected, and
Oh,
then
Crazy.
chance of
like
amputation. Like
I think we as fans like take that, like we see injuries and we kind of just rub it off. It's like, oh, another athlete's injured, but to hear that and the comeback over 700 days,
That's why you
that's
love
crazy.
doing this, man. It adds
Oh,
a
yeah,
yeah.
human side to fantasy.
Yeah,
You don't just get numbers; they're humans too. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
He like if there's anybody who deserves his roses, it's
all right,
Chase
well,
Jones.
if it paid off as well, he was the highest second row scorer on the NOLA Gold. So there you go, another accolade, I guess, to add, whatever that may mean and whatever weight that may carry here. That is something he could add to his list. We'll have to definitely. You can hook us up with that. We'll see if we can bring him on the show. That'd be awesome.
Hmm.
Lastly, Callum, let's do some quick hitters. All right, I'm just gonna
Yep.
go through it, just kind of reflect kind of on your time in the MLR so far. Obviously 2 years played. Favorite
Mhm.
place to play that isn't NOLA?
Oh, these are supposed to be quick hitters. Okay, off the bat, Free Jacks.
Free Jacks. What makes it? What makes it?
It's a hostile
That's not a
environment.
quick hitter, Ryan.
Uh, so the fans are just into you. I remember just getting yelled at. I think that was my first start last year. So I was just getting, I was like, oh, geez, this is
Yeah.
what it's like. So yeah, that was a pretty cool experience, especially the Free Jacks just know how to grind it out and get a win. So yeah, that was a pretty cool experience.
Favorite jersey out of the years that you were with NOLA, the 2 years. There are some pretty cool NOLA Gold jerseys. What's your favorite out of all of them?
Had to be this year's all black.
Okay,
City
all blacks
jerseys.
one looks
Oh,
good.
sweet.
I've always been a fan of the Harlequin jersey that Nola loves to wear, like kind of like the squares on there, but those
Yep.
black ones were pretty cool. Not kind of place, but favorite team to play against.
Um, Chicago.
Chicago.
I think there's a good rivalry between NOLA and Chicago when we existed. um, uh, I believe we never lost to them in Chicago until this year. So that like there was a little bit of back and forth there. So yeah, especially them knocking us out of the playoffs last year. Yeah, they're always fun to play.
A player on the NOLA Gold that you would never let your daughter go out on a date with.
We actually had this question within the team. Who did I say? It had to be Harley Wheeler or yeah, I think it was him.
There you go. There you go. And then lastly for me, what is, I guess, Callum Botchar in 2026 is doing what with rugby next year?
Well, hopefully playing. Yeah.
Love that.
Hopefully playing, hopefully getting a few more games in than this year. So we'll see. Hopefully be World Cup qualified. Yeah. I can't really say right now because I don't know, but that's what I'll say.
Oh, you know the future.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll definitely bring you on again once we have a little bit more clarity with that. But hey, August 22nd, I know that's the next big one on your docket. I'm sure a lot of our viewers will be tuning in for that match. USA fans or Canadian fans on this one. So we're definitely looking forward to that. But hey, Callum, appreciate the time, man. Again, I think any insight to kind of give to MLR fans out there on kind of what's going on, especially kind of kicking off this offseason with a bang in terms of what we've kind of been hit with. I know not everything can be divulged, and I think it sounds like the players don't even know everything that's going on. So appreciate everything that you were able to offer to us. And hey, best of luck at training camp, man. Don't get bit by too many mosquitoes and don't get burned.
Yeah, I'd rather get the mosquitoes than get burned because that sucks. But you know, that's life when you have red hair. So
already kissed with fire. You don't need any more.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. All right. Well,
Thanks,
thank you, Callum. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate it. See ya.
Thank you again to Callum Botchar for joining us here and providing us some insight and perspective. Like we kind of mentioned to him, like, I mean, it is all about we're a players podcast. We're a players show. We're fantasy MLR. We love to highlight player performances. And I think giving players the platform to kind of share their perspectives and how they're affected by things like this kind of gives us fans some insight into how this is more than just, a game and more than just teams being played on, TV and getting to watch a sport. Like this is livelihoods of some players. And it is insane. Again, just very, very, if you didn't check it out last year when the Dallas Jackals folded, just very similar sentiments when it comes to our conversation that we had with Brock Gallagher at the time with that. And then the sentiment that we had with Callum Botchar this time with the NOLA Gold folding. So, Maddie, just your quick thoughts on our conversation. Obviously, good to catch up with an old buddy. But
yeah, good to catch up. But sad to see him go through this predicament. Surely he'll be back in the league with some team because everybody needs a Callum Botchar on their squad. Similar sentiment. Just seems very similar to the way that teams have been folding kind of sudden announcements and sudden things. So yeah.
All righty. Well, with that being said, let's hop into some numbers that are taking place this offseason when it comes to wagering on some international rugby.
TFR Betting Challenge.
All right, time for our TFR Betting Challenge to wrap up the show. The MLR may be done, but that doesn't mean you can lay a dollar. Games happening around the world of rugby, and according to Matt himself, he is the self-proclaimed NPC Bunnings expert.
Yeah, but give me till round 6.
Okay,
I gotta catch up on the film.
NPC Bunnings is now in full swing, opening up with the full week of their test matches there. We're not going to get into the specific games as of yet. Because they are not yet released, at least at the time of this reporting of this podcast, on our local sports books. But either way, we are going to talk about some stuff that is happening. And again, the biggest is the NPC Bunnings. We talked about those teams, so you can still support your teams and cheer for some of the players that you're familiar with some of the MLR guys that are joining some teams. The one thing I'm going to list, the lines are going to come out. We'll get into, again, Matthew said round 6. May have to push him a little bit earlier, but we will get into some predictions of Maddie's betting lines when it comes to this. But with how long the interview wanted to keep this show nice and short for our viewers. Let's just go over the NPC futures bet on where they stand right now. Obviously, week 1 in the books, so some of these have changed since the opening of the season. Maddie, if you had to guess the favorite to win the NPC Bunnings this season, who do you think it is?
Oh, I think it's between Waikato and, I mean, tough to not go against Canterbury as well. I mean, Hawke's Bay won it last year.
Stalling.
I'm Googling as fast as I can.
Isn't this what the NPC Bunnings expert is supposed to know off the top of the dome?
Yeah, it is. It was not Hawke's Bay. Oh, it was not Hawke's Bay. Oh,
That's not quite good for your credibility.
Year? No, this isn't looking good for my credibility, but I was just watching a video on this. You need me to Google for you? No, I got it. It was Wellington that beat Bay of Plenty. I don't think Wellington's going to be as good this year. I'm going to go with Waikato or Canterbury. I mean, Bay of Plenty just came off a pretty good win against Tasman. So, yeah, I'm going to go one of those 3. I'm going to throw in Waikato just because why not?
Okay. So, with that being said, Waikato is plus 1,100. They are the fourth lowest odds.
See, this is why you need to give me till round 6.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying it's crazy as in you're far off, not that that's a good value? Are you suggesting that anyone bet on Waikato right now to win the league at plus 1,100? Bet 100 to get $1,100.
I mean, look, they just beat Auckland. They just beat Auckland.
Okay. So are you saying no? I'm
saying they could be pretty good. Like 1,100 could be pretty good value.
Okay.
Who's favored the most?
Okay. Wellington at plus 350, tied.
See, I don't like that.
I
don't think that's going to happen.
Tied with Canterbury at plus.
They just lost Preston to the All Blacks. Canterbury, I mean, it's kind of a tough round. So the next, 6-7 rounds is going to be basically without the All Blacks that are in the Rugby Championship. So, and that's even the injury cover guys, I think, as well. So that Wellington one, I don't love. Canterbury, I think Waikato's a hit. What's Bay of Plenty at?
Plus 450.
I don't mind that one either. But I think you got some pretty good odds with Waikato.
Okay.
We'll see this weekend when they face Wellington.
Bet 10, win $110. That doesn't sound.
Hey, if Wellington's the favorite in that game, I'm just telling people, take that.
Okay.
Take Waikato.
Okay.
And then if Bay of Plenty has less than 17.5 favorites over counties, take Bay of Plenty. Take them to cover the spread.
All righty. There are your 2 tidbits that you have to listen on. We'll all keep an eye out on the lines, and then we'll bring back maybe Maddie's betting lines next week. But either way, NPC Bunnings, 30 MLR players across 12 teams competing, a nice, fun way to stay on top of that. And you can do that through the TFR Betting Challenge. And make some money as you watch some of your favorite players play overseas. Thank you again to Callum Botchar for joining the show and providing us with some insight. Maddie, anything that you have to say for the people before we go for a week? Go from there.
Don't sleep on the botch, man.
Don't sleep on the botch. Happy birthday to Vandy, by the way. He had his birthday last week. Old man turning 31.
Birthday to right.
Yeah, there we go. And yeah, we'll take a break next week, but be back the week after that with our TFR award show, barring any other crazy news that may or may not come out. Hoping that the MLR has not burned down by the time we come back. Either way, for Matt Yee,
all right.
For Devin Vandy Vanderpool, I am Ryan Yee. We'll see you in 2 weeks here on the Fantasy Ruckers Show.
Botch, man.
You've been listening to the Fantasy Ruckers Show, bringing fantasy rugby to the masses, covering everything rugby from the MLR and beyond. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and be sure to tell all your friends. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, connect with us on social media at the Fantasy Ruckers. Till next time, this is the Fantasy Ruckers Show, signing off.